Hello, and we're back for another episode here on the BJ Show. Welcome to the AFLW 2025 Premiership season. I'm your host, BJ, and we're here for the round 8 results. What some big upsets here for round 8, and we'll go into round 9 previews. So let's get on with the show. So before we get on the way, I would like to thank you all for your support. But if you could, let's get some more. If you like this kind of concept of any kind of sport, we've got quizzes to come. But if you like this episode, make sure you like down below. We've got some fun episodes to come. But tonight or today, we have the AFLW update for round 8. And I've got the game of 9 games to share with you all. And my goodness, what a bunch of games we have. Stay tuned as we may reach in the update ladder. So, as we normally do, I will go through the final scores of each game and also maybe even the day of all. And we also congratulate them as well and heads up to the other team at all, like we do with the AFL. So, before we get on the way is, if you're not yet, join check out the 10-year anniversary for the Podcast International, as well the NRLW pre-productions. So, let's get on with the show. And, well, what's some really good games we can have Fremantle travelling so far away from Perth to Melbourne? And we do head to Thursday night football, which is great to have in the AFLW, which I opinion is fantastic. We've got Hawthorn versus Fremantle we are at Frankinson and Kristen Stadium. And Hawthorn took the win, final score 5-3-33 to 6-18. And it's not just a maze that Hawthorn came out. Fremantle worked hard to get back into the game, but I think it was a little too late after three-quarter time that Hawthorn took the Thursday night game, first game for the round. We come to the next game, and we are on Friday night at Icon Park. We've got Melbourne versus Essendon. Well done to Melbourne Demons, taking a 14-point victory, 5-36, 3-4-22. We also would like to say that Essendon tried all their best to get back into that game, but it was too little too late. In the last quarter, it was all Essendon taking the final quarter. So well done to Melbourne on Friday night at Icon Park. We come to Saturday football. We got 4 games to share. First up, we got the Henderson Park with GWS Giants taking on St Kilda. Well done to St Kilda, 4-30 to 2-4-16, a 14-point victory. And we'll just go through, like I said, St Kilda started well, and they controlled the lead at halftime. They took a 3-0 and a made a 1-0. So teams do win last quarters are pretty good effort, but GWS heads up. All the best for next week. Well done, St Kilda with the win. We take on the top place, the Kangaroos, and they head down to UTAS Stadium in Launceston, Tasmania. And it was the best highest scoring team in the AFLW. Kangaroos, a 13-10-88, defeated 3-2-20. 68-point victory. And the Kangaroos started 2 goals each. So really a good effort for Sydney staying in the game, but they were just so brave. They just couldn't. 3-0, 5-0, and 3-1. So it really a struggling day for Sydney this game was held at UTAS in Tasmania. We go to people first stadium for the Q-Class AFLW. Brisbane taking a 68-point bumping victory. The second 68-point victory out of the Kangaroo Sydney game with the Gold Coast Suns and Brisbane Lions. 11 goals, 17-83, defeated 2-3-15. Gold Coast are one of the worst scorers in the competition, in my opinion, in the AFLW. They can't just... Yes, they'll get some really good games to perform, but unfortunately, Brisbane were way too good, and we'll see the quarter by quarter. Brisbane get 2-0. It was 4-1. It was 2-1, and it was 3-0. So you can see the action of the Brisbane Lions taking the Q plus AFLW victory. We come to the next game, which we are heading to Saturday night footy in Adelaide at Allington Oval with the Western Bulldogs. No, it was Port Adelaide claiming another win in Adelaide at Allington Oval, 8-6, 54 defeated by 5-35. And Port Adelaide just holding on against a very good quality Western Bulldogs side. They came out early, Western Bulldogs. They bited hard. And it was all Port Adelaide with kicking 4-1 in the final quarter. And we do come to Sunday football, Icon Park for the Richmond Tigers and the Adelaide Crows. Then we go to GM HBA Stadium in Geelong for the Geelong Cats take on Carlton. And then in Perth, a Million Rescue Park in Perth, West Coast Eagles versus Collingwood Magpies. First up, well, this is disappointing. I tipped Adelaide. I thought they were going to take the win, and they just couldn't reverse 11-point defeat. They started well, Adelaide. They kicked 4 goals to 2 in the first half, and kicking 2 goals, 6, 2, 4 goals, plus 2, 6 goals, 4, 2 goals, 6. That makes a big difference. If Adelaide gets straightened in that final quarter, Adelaide should have won this game. They had them, they had it, but it was only a 13-point defeat into 11-point victory. Well done to Richmond Tigers, having a pretty struggling year. They're claiming off the bottom of the ladder with their first win of their season against a good informed Adelaide Crows. Next game, we head to GMHBA Stadium in Geelong. Geelong Cats versus Carlton Blues. The struggling Geelong Cats in the AFLW are not performing this season. And Carlton claiming the win down at Geelong. You take it. You take the win down at Geelong. You've done something well for the AFLW. Final score here on it is 7 goals, 13-55 to 5-7-37. An 18-point victory to the Carlton Blues. They are flying this season. They are looking really, really nicely. Look, heads up for the LA Crows, I mean to say, and the Geelong Cats. Always next week. We'll share that very soon. And we come to the final game, West Coast Eagles versus Collingwood. Well done to West Coast, 45 points. They're looking good, West Coast. They've been a long time coming to really have a good coach, former Demon player, and to perform for the West Coast Eagles head coach. It's amazing. Collingwood, always next week. Final score here was 14-62 to 5-17. Okay. That's it. Well, we'll just see how quarter went. So it was 2 goals apiece. Then it was 3 goals to nil. It was 1 goal to nil. And it was 2 goals to nil. 2-7 to 2 behind. West Coast absolute beaten by Collingwood. Or defeated at home. We come to round 9 previews. Nice and smooth. Western Bulldogs, Essendon at Mission Whitton over in Melbourne. And I'm going to say Western Bulldogs, they'll bounce back from that loss. We go to Saturday afternoon football. Adelaide Crows return home after 2 weeks on the road and host West Coast Eagles. West Coast Eagles 45-point victory. A pretty hard game. I would think West Coast should get this win. This will show who wants it more. But Adelaide Crows will bounce back. They're in the game. They start really well. Unfortunately, that Richmond took the W there. So LA Crows was the win. We do return back to the second Saturday afternoon football. And we are in at Geelong at GM HBA Stadium. And we have Geelong Cats versus GWS Giants. Now, I really like the Geelong will bounce back from that awful loss. They can't win and not just lose in Geelong. I think Geelong will bounce back. That's taking on the struggling GWS Giants. They should do well, and that is who I'm going for. Geelong in Geelong. The second time slot on that Saturday afternoon, we got the Kinnan Stadium in Frankinson for Hawthorn versus Gold Coast. Clear as well. I'm going for Hawthorn to take this win in twice round. And that's a really special round as well for the AFLW. And we got the Twilight Football in Brisbane at Brighton Homes Arena. Both teams coming off very, very good, successful wins. One in Adelaide and one on the road. Brisbane Lions versus Port Adelaide. And I'm taking Brisbane to take the win. And Saturday night at Icon Park for Bryce Brown, Richmond taking on the Kangaroos, the first winners, taking their first for the win for the year, taking on their biggest challenge, where's North Melbourne Kangaroos to take the win. We got the last 3 games for Bryce Round for round 9 as we end the AFLW Premiership season. First up, we got Hanson Park in Sydney. Sydney Swans versus Carlton Blues. Then we got St Kilda versus Collingwood at RSEA Park. Then we go to Fremantle Oval. Yep, the Fremantle Dockers versus Melbourne Demons. First game, Sydney Carlton. St Kilda, Collingwood, St Kilda, Fremantle and Melbourne. I could have claimed an upset, but Melbourne. So there you have it. So my restrictions are Western Bulldogs, Adelaide, Geelong, Hawthorn, Brisbane, Kangaroos, Carlton, St Kilda and Melbourne. They're my tips. What do you think? So before we get and end this show, I would like to say thank you for your support from Podcast to YouTube. If you are interested of what more content like this, well, make sure to subscribe down below. That's big. Subscribe down below. If you like this episode, make sure you give a nice good like. And make sure you hit that notification bell for any latest in the podcast and YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. I'm now signing out. We'll see you soon. Bye for now. Peace.